Who dat to the Who Dat Nation? Welcome to the Who Dat Said podcast here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and we are off and running, ladies and gentlemen. It is official. We have kicked off the beginning of the 2025-26 NFL football season as the New Orleans Saints just wrapped up their first preseason game of the season under freshly new minted head coach Kellen Moore. The New Orleans Saints took on the Los Angeles Chargers in SoFi Stadium. Unfortunately, they came away with a loss, losing 27-13 against the Chargers. But this isn't the time to get all wrapped up in wins and losses. I can already see on my social media feeds people going in, the sky is falling. Oh my God, grab the baby, leave everything else. The house is on fire. Let's relax, people. It's just a preseason game. Now, there are some things in this game that is kind of concerning. You know, there's some things here that make you scratch your head like, so we're going into the season with this. Or, is this the way we're going to play the rest of the season? There are some things that make you scratch your head and draw a little concern. But I'm not over the moon concerned because I have zero, and I repeat, zero expectations going into this NFL football season when it comes to the New Orleans Saints. Do I want the Saints to succeed and do well? Of course, I want them to win. I want them to win every week, but I'm not crazy. I know they're not going to win every single week. And especially this season, I'm not expecting double-digit wins this season. Far from it. You know, if we can rattle off 7 victories this year, I would be shocked and happy with that. I would feel like we won a playoff game if we're able to get 7 wins this season. If we're getting a new coach, new system, everything's new. We got new players, new quarterbacks, young quarterbacks who none of them have won playoff games. They haven't won a game in the NFL. It's a lot going on here. And so it's not expected that the Saints will make this quick turnaround, and the next thing you know, we're going the 2006 route when Sean Payton first got here, Drew Brees first got here, and we end up going to the NFC Championship game. We're not doing that. Not with this structure, not the way this team is currently built, and not the way the NFL is currently built. It's a tougher route. And so we are basically in rebuild mode. And the Saints are in a position where they have a lot of young talent all across the field, not just quarterback, which is what all eyes on me are right now, but rightfully so. But the entire team have a crop of young players, and we saw them on display today, a few of them, and we see that this team has a lot of growing to do. And I'm encouraged by a lot of the things that I saw, but I'm also a little concerned about a few things that I did see throughout the course of this game that we're going to touch in on during the course of this show. But as I said before, the New Orleans Saints fall to the Chargers 27-13. And let's not forget as well, this is the second game for the Chargers. You know, this is our first, but this is the second game for the Chargers. So they're in motion, you know. They have their wheels turning a little faster than ours. And you can tell by the amount of flags that were thrown on the field. I can count on one hand how many flags the Chargers got. I think the Chargers may have gotten 2. We're going to go over the stats, but the Chargers didn't get many flags. Saints, on the other hand, got a lot, and that was to be expected. You know, it's the first game. There's a lot of adrenaline pumping and a lot of nervousness involved, and I expected that going in. So none of that really blew my mind. I didn't see anything, egregious that took place to whereas I'm like, oh man, the the refs here, the refs for the most part really let them play. There was some really good plays made out there that the flag stayed in the pockets because it was just a good play. There wasn't any interference or any shots to the head or anything of that nature. But as I said before, the big question mark going into this, or not question mark, but the eyes were solely focused on the New Orleans Saints quarterback position. We have three quarterbacks who are vying for the number one spot here, and all three quarterbacks are young, and all three quarterbacks are winless in the NFL. One has an excuse because he's never played in the NFL. That'll be our second round pick in Tyler Shuck, who makes his feature film debut, if you will, with the New Orleans Saints today. Spencer Rattler, he has a few starts last year in the black and gold, but he didn't get a victory. And Jake Hayner, he had a start or two, and he showed that he wasn't ready for prime time last year. So there's a lot of question marks going into this game in reference to these quarterbacks. Who is leading in camp? Depending on who you listen to, who you read online or in the paper or whatever, it varies depending on the writer. Some say that it's pretty even at camp. You have others who say it's not even close in camp. It's Spencer Rattler is the clear favorite here, and others who say that it's really, really close between all three. And I just wanted to see them in action. I wanted to see live bullets. I didn't want to see boot camp. I wanted to see them at war. And so here we are in SoFi in Los Angeles. Let's see how they shaped out. Now, we started off Spencer Rattler. He started the game, and the Saints had 6 possessions offensively in the first half. Spencer Rattler, he was in charge of the first 5, which I must say I was a little upset by that because I wanted to see him in a 2-minute drill. But they gave that 2-minute drill to Tyler Shuck, which, look, that's fine. I wanted to see him in it as well. So whatever. We got it one way or the other. But Spencer Rattler, he started it off. This is the second-year pro out of South Carolina. He went 7 for 11 for 53 yards. He ran 3 times for 22 yards and had a lost fumble on a sack because of a breakdown in protection. It really wasn't his fault. He wasn't holding the ball long. He didn't have time. He didn't have time in that pocket for that play. But he did have a turnover. Just to put it in perspective, all 3 quarterbacks turned the ball over today. Spencer Rattler had that fumble sack. Tyler Shuck threw a pick 6. Jake Hayner threw a pick. And they were all ugly. None of them are excused. The only one with a sliver of excuse is the Spencer Rattler fumble. Everybody else was just horrible throws. Those were horrible throws, but whatever. Tyler Shuck, this is his first game, got in the game, the 2-minute drill, didn't have a problem with the 2-minute drill. The only thing that I took note of during that 2-minute drill at the end of the first half, I wish he would have got in and out the huddle a little quicker, had more sense of urgency. But I have to be reminded that this is his first game. It's not like he's a seasoned veteran, so I got to take that into account. But, you got to know situational football. You can't work the middle of the field as much as you did. He really did not utilize the outside of the field, the out of bounds line, trying to get yardage and get out of bounds to conserve time, which later on I found out that, the reason he works the inside of the field because the outside of the field isn't his strong suit. That's not his strong suit. That's where he threw that pick 6. Horrible throw. Horrible throw. And instantly, only thing ran across my mind, like, you serious? This because he stared that dude. I mean, he telegraphed that throw from the moment they broke the huddle. It was never a moment. I knew he was throwing to the right side. As soon as they broke the huddle, he did not throw off the receiver. I mean, not the receiver, but the safety or the corners. None of that. None of it was. He told it. He really told it, and I was hot. I was hot sitting in here watching this game, but I, I calmed myself down and I told myself, let's see how he responds. This is good. This can be good. We can flip this. Let's see how he responds. Well, the very next drive, after he threw the pick six, got the ball back, he orchestrated a great drive, threw a dime to Mason Tifton, a 54-yard touchdown, 55-yard touchdown. I don't know why I can't talk. It was a beautiful throw. He was wide open. I will hope he makes that throw because he missed one earlier. I forgot who that was on the outside. He missed it, I think, during that 2-minute drill. But this was a dime. I was really, really impressed by that throw. As well as his ability to have a short memory to bounce back from that turnover. So that was key. I was super, super excited by that. He ended the game 15 for 22, 165 yards, a touchdown, and 1 interception. We move on to Jake Haynard here. Jake Haynard, he played the final 5 minutes of the game. He got no time. They just threw him. And poor little Jake Haynard, he didn't get any time to do anything constructive. He went 5 for 8 for 41 yards and an interception. What I would say about Jake Haynard just looks nervous to me. Y'all ever notice that? He just looks like the stage is too big. Every time he touches the field, it's like he's not built for this. And he looks like a good dude. That's why I really don't rag on Jake Haynard too much, because he just looks like a cool dude. But he just can't get it together on the field. It's like he's in a state of euphoria or something. He just, I don't know, man. I don't know how to describe him, but he's clearly not a starter. A backup maybe, but he is not a starter. Running back wise, Alvin Kamara didn't play in this game. A lot of our starters didn't play. That's another point I want to put in. Dealing with these 3 quarterbacks, because that affected them. And I was upset. By that because I want to get a fair analysis of these guys, and the only way to do that is if they have a full arsenal, and they didn't. Spencer Rattler started the game, but he didn't have it. He didn't have any starters in the game. There's no Olave, and I'm not saying they should have played. I understand why Alvin Kamara didn't play. He doesn't need to play. We've seen what we can see from Alvin Kamara. He's earned the right. Chris Olave, I understand why he didn't play, because if you pluck him in the ear, he's probably going to get a concussion. And so rest him. Shadeed is coming off a leg injury. Even though he looks electric in camp, it really don't want to risk anything out there with him. It's good. I get all that, but our offensive line, we didn't get any start. Well, we got some starters, which was a bad decision, it looks like, because it appears that Will Clapp got hurt, even though he's not a starter, but he backs up a starter who constantly gets hurt. So that's important. He got hurt on the opening play. Trevor Penning looked like he got hurt. He limped off the field, and they later said he got carted to the back. It's like, my God, we just can't catch a break. And so I understand why starters didn't play, but it's hard to really give a fair judgment on these guys when they don't have their full arsenal. I would love to see their full arsenal on display and see how they are with our guys, with the number 1 guys out there. But with Alvin Kamara not playing, our 50 other running backs had an opportunity to play. Number 1 is Kendre Miller. Kendre Miller, who I feel is a super talented running back, really physical, really fast. He has every intangible you want. He just can't stay healthy. That's the knock on him, and that's been the knock on him since college over at TCU. But It appears that he's healthy. He's ready to go. Let's see if he can carry the load, help take some of the load off of Alvin Kamara. And he looks good out there. He looked good today. I think he carried the ball 6 times for 15 yards. He looked really, really good. I am happy to see how he's running the ball. Who I'm not happy with is Clyde Edward Helaire. He does not do it for me. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people, especially down here in Louisiana, love him because he went to LSU. He was a part of that dynasty that won the national championship. All that is fine. But he did all that on a team. And I'm talking about the Tigers, the LSU Tigers. He did that with a team full of first round picks, you know? That was an all-star team. That was an all-pro team out there. A literal NFL team because everybody on that team is in the NFL. And so I never thought he was that guy. And he shows he doesn't hit the hole hard. It was a third down, like a 3rd and 2 that he could have picked up if he would have put his head down and just went and got it. He didn't. And it was the 4th down. Come on, man. You know, you gotta want it. And especially now, you would think during this time of the year, in the preseason, you're fighting to keep a job. And you're on a roster where there are a lot of people, especially in your particular position, vying for a job, and you playing tentative like that, it's going to put you on the cut list really fast. And so I was real high on him, you know, because he showed flashes of being a really good running back. He's a good running back. Don't get me wrong. I went on this tangent about him, but he's not that guy. He's not nobody that I would say if Alvin Kamara went down, God forbid, Edwards Helaire would be the next man up, and I feel comfortable with it. No, I wouldn't. I don't think anybody would. Kendra Miller, yeah, if he stays healthy, but that's it. But another guy that came out of nowhere, who I've never heard of, honestly, never heard of, was this Valdez Jones Jr. Never heard of the guy. But they talked him up on the broadcast, you know, like he's the fastest guy on the team and this, that, and the third, and he can catch out of the backfield. He can do this, he can do that. And the way that he was being used in the offense, the way Kellen Moore designed these plays for him to get the ball, you know, to run these jet sweeps and these screens and these real routes and all this here. Yeah, he can catch. I think he caught 4 passes for 16 yards. He really can catch. But my question is, can he run the ball? Because he looks kind of small. You know, he doesn't look like your conventional running back. But, you know, if they're going to use him in a special way, if he's the new gadget guy along with Taysom Hill whenever he gets healthy, all right, that's fine. But what the Saints need is a true blue running back that's going to back up Alvin Kamara and be that guy to step up to the plate. Right now it's Kendra Miller. But, you know, you really can't push all your chips in the middle of the table with him because of his history of injury. So we'll see in that moving forward. Defensively, which is what I was truly eyeing going into this game, you know, especially after last year when the Saints were dead last or second to last or whatever. I know they were the bottom 2 in run defense, you know, giving up about 5-6 yards a carry last season. I wanted to see if there was any improvement there. Starting off the game, you know, that first half, once again, we didn't have all our starters in, but it's still some question marks there with the run defense. It looks like they've gotten their pass defense under control. I like what I saw there. I love the energy all around. The energy all around was great. The pressure was great, you know, without blitzing. You know, the times they did blitz, they blitzed, but they were still getting pressure without blitzing. You know, we had, 4 sacks today? One should have been a safety. I mean, they called this a game of inches, and it truly was on that safety because the quarterback was just out of the end zone when Christian Boyd wrapped up what's his name, Haynard or Heineke or whatever, whoever it was, wrapped him up for the sack. But that was a nice play by him. Diggs got a sack, and Chris Rump, who I'm I'm high on. I was high on him before, so I'm hoping that he can make an impact. He made one today, and he was all over the field throughout the game. Players who didn't play today, of course, Demario Davis, JT Gray, Cam Jordan, of course, Devin Neal, but he's injured. I think he has a hamstring injury. Chris Olave, I think they said he had an ankle injury, why he didn't play. But Alante Taylor didn't play. Landon Young, our offensive tackle guard, I forgot which one he is. He didn't play. Devin Gotro didn't play. Carl Grandison, Alvin Kamara, Chase Young. These guys didn't play. So it wasn't like the Saints were at full strength out there. And for the most part, with all that being considered, the Saints did decent. It was very vanilla of a game. The play calling and whatnot in the first half. And that leads me to my next point. There are going to be a lot of Tyler Shuck fans who are going to be upset with this next little segment here, but this is the God's honest truth. And I've been saying this since they draft Shuck. I don't have a problem with Shuck. My problem with Shuck is the Saints. It's not Shuck. It's the Saints. The fact that the Saints went out there and got this dude, like he was the answer. And they had a better option out there. And y'all saw him. And I'm talking about Shedeur Sanders. He was there. And you chose Shuck. Now, this is typical New Orleans Saints who think they can always find the gem. Think they can always find that player that comes out of nowhere nobody's expecting. And look what we did. We made this guy who he is. Sometimes you just got to go with makes the most sense. Shedeur Sanders was the most NFL-ready quarterback in that draft. And I don't, for the life of me, know why they went with Tyler Shuck. It made no sense. None. Once again, I'm going to continue to say this. No shade on Tyler Shuck. I don't hate him. I don't dislike him. I actually saw some good things from him that's very encouraging. But I also saw some things that weren't. But I'm going to throw that to the side. I'm going to stay hopeful because no matter what, it is what it is. He's the Saints quarterback. I can't cry. I can't moan about it. This is who we got. But the reality is this. When you do things like send Spencer Rattler out there to start the game and call the game so vanilla, run, throw, pass, short pass here, short pass there, screenplay here, nothing over 5 yards, he don't have time for the play to develop. He has to run. I mean, he led the team in rushing because he was constantly having to break the pocket because he had no time to make the throw. Stuff like that. Really can't fault the coaches too much for that per se. But what I can fault the coaches for, did y'all notice how the game was called in the first half versus how it was called in the second? The way the game was called when Tyler Shuck was in the game, you would have sworn this was a Week 4 matchup against the Atlanta Falcons or a Week 14 matchup against the Atlanta Falcons to determine who's first place in the NFC South. That's how that game was called in the second half. They were running gadget plays, trick plays, slant plays, real routes, all this other stuff. Just look at the numbers. Just look at the numbers in the pass attempts. Tyler Shuck threw the ball 22 times versus Spencer Rattler's 11. There's that. There's that. They put more faith in him. Now, that's their guy. Of course, they're going to put faith in him All right, that's fine. If that's the case, he should have started the game. Just start the game. Why play this game with the fans? Why draw this along like this is an actual competition when, after seeing today, it's not. It's clearly not a competition. Tyler Shuck will be your week 1 starter unless something catastrophic happens between now and September the 3rd, I think it is. It's not going to change. Nothing is going to change. Tyler Shuck will be your starting quarterback. And a lot of that is not only their decision, but it's the way these guys play. All three of these quarterbacks, none of them impress me. Not one. And y'all know how I boost up Spencer Rattler. I can't even boost up Spencer Rattler. None of them looked good. You know, none of them looked horrible. That's encouraging, but at the same time, none of them screamed out, "I'm the week 1 starter. I'm the guy that's going to lead this team into the future of this franchise." I didn't get that vibe from them. Nobody separated from themselves. Let's run down the stats of this game, beginning with the New Orleans Saints. Passing, the leading passer today was Tyler Shuck. He was 15 for 22, 165 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Spencer Rattler, he was a 7 for 11, 53 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Jake Haynard, he was 5 for 8, 41 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception. The leading rusher today was Spencer Rattler, 3 rushes for 22 yards. Kendre Miller comes in second, 6 carries for 15 yards. Cam Akers, he had 4 carries for 9 yards. Jake Haynard, 1 carry for 7 yards. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 4 carries for 6 yards. Just for hits and giggles, Tyler Shuck, he carried the ball once for 3 yards. Leading receiver today was Mason Tipton on that 1 catch he had, which was a doozy, that 1 54-yard touchdown he got from Tyler Shuck. The next one up will be Austin, 4 catches for 42 yards. Wilson, 3 catches for 37 yards. Pennis, 2 catches for 25 yards. Jones, 4 catches for 16 yards. Moving over to the defense, our leading tackler today was Isaiah Starbird with 8 tackles today. He's tied with Jalen Ford with 8 tackles as well. Our team statistics go as such. The Saints had 300 total net yardage today to the Cardinals. To the Chargers, 248. Saints had 7 penalties today for 56 yards, whereas the Chargers had 4 penalties, and that's a shocker to me because I didn't think it was that many. I really thought the Saints had more. And so, to be honest with you, it's cleaner than what I thought. But it just felt like at one point the majority of those 7 came like right behind each other. It felt like, but regardless, in time of possession, Saints did win that with 31 minutes and 8 seconds to the Chargers, 28 minutes and 52 seconds. But like I said, the Saints, overall, as far as a first performance, if we're doing learning curves, the Saints did decent. It was decent. It wasn't a bad game. Yeah, they had 3 turnovers. That's huge, but that's to be expected when you have a new team, a new coach, new players, and new. So 3 turnovers is not the end of the world for a preseason game 1. Now, if this was week 1, if this was week 11, and they playing like this, then it's a problem. I expected worse. Going by the way the national media is treating the Saints, like the Saints are only going to win 3 games this season or something like that. I don't see that. I mean, the problems that we have, and we have them, and we have quite a few. But the good news to this, the great news to this, is week 1 of the preseason. These are things you can clean up. Now I'm sounding like Dennis Allen. It's the things you can clean up, you can fix, you can work on before we start the season. We got a month before the season officially kicks off. And so it's not the end of the world. I'd rather have these problems now than have these problems later. But with all that being said, I'm still not expecting the Saints to be a force in the NFC by no stretch of the imagination. And the number one thing is what we spent the most time talking about at the beginning of the show is the quarterback play. This was the first time that I actually came to the realization that the Saints needed a veteran quarterback. They needed a veteran. I ain't say needed. They need a veteran quarterback. I didn't know how essential it was until today. There's no veteran leadership there. Now, I guess you can make the argument Kellen Moore. He's a former NFL quarterback. I guess he's the veteran quarterback on the team. Miss me with all that. He's the head coach. I need a veteran quarterback that's there who can shepherd these young quarterbacks, teach them right from wrong. To a degree, because depending on who you bring in here, they can't teach them right from wrong. Like, for instance, if you bring in a Jameis Winston, he's not going to teach right from because most of the stuff he do is wrong. But you need a veteran here. You need a bridge quarterback. That's the problem with the Saints. That's the biggest hurdle with the Saints is no veteran leadership. The one with the most veteran presence is Jake Haynard, and he's last on the depth chart at quarterback. He's been here 3 years, and he's the worst one out of the bunch. So what did that tell you? What does that tell you? Look, I'm all for these guys getting reps, and that's the downside to bringing in a vet, because that's going to take reps from these guys that need the reps. And so I understand from that standpoint, but at the same time, come on, man, we are, what are we doing here? Are we truly in rebuild mode? Because they act like that's a dirty word over there on airline, rebuild. But you don't have to sit there and just act like, okay, we can compete with what we have here. No, we can't. It's no. Spencer, even if they go with Spencer Rattler, who's my weapon of choice, that's me giving them 6 games with Spencer Rattler. And that's a tentative 6, and only 3 of them is because of him. I'm not saying he's the be-all. All I'm saying is out of the 3, I would prefer him because he's the only one I feel that gives us the best chance to win. Time will tell. Time will tell. I will say this. I'm going to miss Dennis Allen for this reason only, because this is the first time that I can remember me doing a recap show of the New Orleans Saints where they lose and I'm not mad. Because I was so mad when Dennis Allen was in, because it was his fault. It was all his fault. And so now when it happens, I really can't blame nobody. So I'm not mad. I'm cool with it. I'm being optimistic. I'm keeping my emotions in check, just to put it kindly here. But it's not the end of the world to me. I think this is a good start to this new direction that the Saints are heading in. But if anybody has a disagreement with that, anybody that feels like, oh man, I guess we're getting the first pick, we're going to get Arch Manning. If you feel that way, fine. I mean, I can't fight you on that, because the Saints do not look like a juggernaut of a team, but I'm not expecting them to. So I got a different perspective, unfortunately, but it do look like the Saints will give us some competitive football in 2025. I think in spite of the fact that they won't be contenders this season, I think they're going to give people a fight. I think every Sunday, win or lose, the Saints are going to give people a run for their money. I don't think there's going to be any blowouts versus the Saints. And so that's my only hope. And from what I've seen, I don't think it's going to go that direction, because they look like they're on the right road. Now, it's going to take some time. The only question is, are we willing, as the Who Dat Nation, are we willing to take that time with them? Are we willing to be patient with this franchise as they get their crap together? So, I'm willing to do it. I've been following this team for 46 years. I think I can muster up a few months here until this team gets it together. Because let's be honest, I don't have any other option. What's my options here? It is what it is. So we're rolling with it. Once again, the Saints just wrapped up their first preseason game of the brand new season, leaving LA with a loss against the Chargers, 27-13. I would like to know, what did you think of the game? Do you think it's doom and gloom, or are you encouraged? Or are you looking at the bright side of things going forward? I would love to know, how do you feel about the new Kellen Moore regime? Do you think that he's going to get this turned around? Do you think the Saints still have an opportunity, still have a chance at winning the South and all this here? I'm not setting myself up for that. But if you are, let me know by emailing the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars and the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the Who Dat Said podcast here on the KB Radio Network. Man, look, man, I know it's a loss. Maybe I'm kind of I don't know, how can I put it? Maybe I'm falling victim to the joy of football being back, and my opinions are kind of swayed. I don't know, man, but I am not mad. I am feeling good because football is back. The Who Dat Nation is back. The Saints are back. I'm excited, and we're back talking Saints football. Man, I needed this. Oh, y'all have no idea how much I need this. And I would not be doing this unless I get continued support from all of you. And I thank y'all. Even when I go through my rants, even when I want to punch my TV, even when I'm ready to rip this microphone off my desk and just beat this computer half to death, I still fight through it, and you still hanging there with me every single year. And I appreciate all of you coming back once again for another season here on the Who Dat Said podcast. Hey, baby, football is back once again. Come back, join the show this weekend as we preview the Saints taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars next Sunday in the Dome for 12 noon. I think this one is. So we will be back to preview this game Friday, I believe. Yes, Friday. And then after the game on Sunday, just like today, we'll be back to recap week 2 of the preseason versus the Jaguars. Oh, man, it feels so good. Until then, everybody, I'm going to be screaming, "Who dat?"